have a whole lot that we haven't already talked about
Mm,
since last week. So I'm still waiting to, in terms of the patient data for the new project, get the data from Dr. Barat, but this is still kind of a holiday week, so I'm assuming we won't worry about that until maybe next week.
yeah.
I went back and looked at the email thread from Mary Carnes, and I
Mm,
apologize, I didn't CC either of you on it. It was from a couple,
mm,
maybe like a month ago.
mm,
She recommended Dr. Mohammed Abazid,
mm,
who I guess is putting together a lung cancer biorepository. So
mm,
she thought he might be a good person to reach out to if we need more patients. And then thirdly, actually, Richard and I talked a few weeks ago, and he's working on another project where they got quite a few patients with stage 3 non-small cell lung cancer. And
mm,
he can probably talk more about this, but he's still working on the project.
mm,
So this would be maybe later on down the line. But once they have their data done and the analysis done, we could potentially use their patient pool as well. So
mm,
those are kind of the three sources of patient data that I've come up with
mm,
so far.
okay. I wasn't aware of that Abazi. So he's a radiation oncologist.
Yeah,
Um, but I guess he's working with surgery group to get the biorepository.
that sounds like.
Mm, yeah. So I guess for your project, we're not interested in unresectable stage 3 or 4, only interested in someone who actually had surgery.
Right.
Um, yeah, so you would think stage 3 are, I would say half are unresectable, treated with chemoradiation, half are, you know, chemo followed by surgery. Um, yeah, so that's why we just need actual like lobectomy samples.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why Barat's yeah, he said he'll get me the list, and I guess it's not easy. Hmm, yeah. So I still believe the best way is to get the list of like, who actually got the surgery, but also that list should be available in pathology as well. So I'm thinking as a backup, I work with Alex, Dr. Alex. He's been helping me with the Lunit project, but he might have an idea of how to get that list. But then he's also like, I need to get those like sample numbers and give it to him. He retrieve. He's more like that. He's not. Yeah.
What's his last name?
Alex is it Borislav? What is it, Liam?
Yeah, it's Alexiev
Is-
Borziev. I can forward you the email.
Okay. I'm sure I can Google that too and find it, but either way. Okay,
Yeah, why
I can
don't
reach
you?
out and just see.
Yeah, maybe it's just that you're a student work doing this project with me, and um, you wanna, you want to ask if he knows the way to um look at these tissue, not like the needle biopsy, but like actual
Yeah.
surgical tissue in pathology, and if he knows anyone who will be able to find that list,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just keep asking. Someone might know the best way to extract,
Okay.
and that's yeah. Pers- um, yeah. And Abbasid, I think it won't hurt. You can ask the same thing to see him, me, and you're saying you're working on this project and want to see if he knows a way to find those list of patients. Yeah, and then he might give us like, hey, we already have that list or whatever. I don't think it would hurt to ask. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
okay,
just keep asking. I know Bharat will give us, but it might not be the perfect set. But yeah, and some data is more organized than the other, and I think we'll just keep asking. And yeah. Good
Okay.
idea. Yeah.
okay, that sounds good. I'll send those emails.
Mm.
The other thing I was working on, so I had the manuscript ready to submit after I had those 3 reviewers. I had to make some like editing changes.
Mm.
And right before I was able to submit, I got a page about paying a fee. And I've never had a journal that made me pay like a large fee. This was about like $2,000. So
To submit?
yeah. And I had no
Usually
idea.
is to publish, not sometimes they have you
Oh yeah,
like
right. So it was so you don't have to pay it to publish. But it still wanted all the information like up front to submit. And again, even to publish, I've never seen a fee like that before because it's an open access journal. So, I'd be happy to look into other journals because I just feel like that's kind of crazy. And maybe this is something that people see all the time.
What was the journal?
It was called let me find it again. It's a cancer research and treatment communications or something like that. It was the one that was recommended by the first journal we submitted to. Let me pull it up.
Or can you share the screen that you got that message? Or
Yeah,
let me see if that's true.
this is
Because I've never had that issue.
okay. So I'll share my screen really quick. Yeah, I got that message and I was like, whoa. Okay, so this is so I went through the whole like submitting process and then it goes to publishing options.
Mm-hmm.
When I click this, you probably can't see my screen. Hold on. It takes me here.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's published as an open access article.
Mm-hmm.
And so that it gives me this page. And then you have to go to billing information. And then you have to like put in who's gonna pay it. And but I don't mean that just seems like a lot.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I went to the next page, honestly. Let's see if I did this. Oh yeah, then it asks for all the information to pay. So
I mean, it's not like telling you to put credit card number or anything. Like it's just
no, but
yeah.
I mean, is this common to have to pay this amount of money to publish in most journals? I just have never run into it before.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is common. It is common, and so there's no option to not do open access, correct? Is everything?
Yeah,
is
no, I
open
think
access?
that the journal itself is open access.
Yeah. So the model is, they get these companies make money by conscription, not what do you call it,
like the subscriptions.
Subscription and access fee. But then if you make open access policy, then they don't make money that way, right?
Right.
Everyone can search it. So
Yeah.
you get that money from the authors.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible model.
I know.
But every time I work with a student or I get to pay, it's actually $2,000 or $3,000 for publishing.
Oh my gosh.
So out of my own money. So it's a loss for me, guys, financially. Okay. Then I'm, and then I'm blessed. I have patients who donate money for my research. And then I use those funds as well. Like,
Yeah.
But still, I think the system has to change. But I mean, one option is to only publish in a journal that is not open access.
Right.
But I think our option becomes very. I think more journals are turning into open access, and
Yeah.
it's like open access will have higher citation just because of ease of finding journal, right? Yeah, so you're welcome to just put my contact information there, and
Okay.
it's not like we're putting credit card number there. And if it's
No.
accepted, I'll pay $2,000. So
Okay. This is a good lesson for me. I feel like I've published before, but I guess it's never been with our journals that.
yeah, usually they send invoice to me, corresponding author.
Yeah.
Once it's published, and they don't show the numbers yet, but I guess this
Yeah.
journal is different.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. I just figured it was like, I don't know, not common or just not something you frequently run into, but
Yeah.
okay. Well, then we'll see if it
So
even
let's
gets
hope that this,
accepted.
yeah, that's the last step, right? You could submit once you
Yeah.
get through that. Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah, otherwise it should be good to go. So I can just do that after today.
So
Other
cancer treatment and research what was it again?
cancer treatment and research communications.
What was the impact factor? Like where Elsevier?
It honestly wasn't great. Let me see. It was like 2.
2? Okay.
Yeah, it's not horrible, but not great.
Yeah, not horrible. It's but at that level, we're just hoping it gets published soon. So I don't want to go to a higher journal and keep trying it. We want to get
Yeah.
it done.
Yeah.
So that's our motivation. All right, let's hope it gets accepted. And it just yeah, see, at least check it weekly to see if they sent back some requests or comments. Yeah.
Okay. And then my only other last thing, that form I talked about from last week about getting credit for research. There was actually a section for the PI to write like a little blurb. So I did email it to you, both emails. I can email it again. I just need it in like the next couple weeks.
Oh yeah, let me find it, make sure I have it. So you need me to sign, or?
Yeah, there's a part that I filled out at the top, and then there's a project mentor section that you just need to fill out and then sign, and then I can submit it.
There's a problem with search. What's the keyword for me to search your email?
The topic or the subject line was research elective form. It was sent on December 21st.
Somehow it's not letting me to do search.
I can resend it.
Yeah, why don't you resend it?
Okay. And then just while I wait, I guess, for patience, I'll continue working on the intro. I kind of have a rough draft together. I'll just keep working on that for now.
Can you send to my Gmail? Do you know my Gmail?
I do not have your Gmail.
Yeah, I'll put it up there. Just having issue with my NM email. I don't know why it's not working well. I put it on the chat box.
Okay, I can send it there.
To send to both. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. And then that's really all I have for this week.
Mhm. So yeah, once we get the sample, yeah, just keep reading so that you know exactly what to do with the project.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's data for yeah, breast and lung, and it's going to be applicable for all, like a neoadjuvant. There's neoadjuvant bladder. So the data is coming, and so for discussion, kind of see where we are.
Mhm.
And if there's a nice figure or table that they created, and see if we can apply that method to ours as well. So,
Okay.
all right. Good. Good. Thank you, Sam.
Mhm.
All right, we'll move on to Richard.
Yep. Hello, happy holidays. I just wanted to run through the abstract that I wrote for
Yes, let's do
enabling.
that. I've been
Yeah,
busy. Can you share screen? Let's do it together.
yeah. Yeah, okay. So I finished adding like the updates about the what do you call it? The like neutrophil to lymphocyte ratios and everything down here. Everything
Mhm.
else you looked at before. But right now it's pretty much up to the character count, like 2,580 out of 2,600.
Mm,
But I could just take some stuff out if needed.
mm. Okay, so let me give you my comment. It for the NLR. So as you can see, all the p-values are not significant. So it's hard to just say, it's superior or improved.
Mm-hmm.
If it's close to 0.05, you can say trend for something, but it's 0.4, 0.2 is not even a trend. I mean, so you have to show the graph to say there's a pattern for this, but here you were not showing the graph.
Yeah.
So it kind of gets tricky. Like if you
Yeah, I wanted to put the graph in, but I forgot the penalty. It's like 200 character count per graph or
yeah,
table. Yeah.
it's not gonna work for this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could take something out probably, but I'm not sure what would be right to take out.
Hmm.
This is for AACR though, right, Richard? Yeah, for AACR. So AACR doesn't allow for graphs. It only allows for tables. Oh, okay, only tables. I see. At least for the abstracts. Uh-huh.
So I think let me think. So I'll say, we can leave the platelet count story as it is, but then NLR story, we have to say something like, although not statistically significant, there was a trend for improved survival outcome or something like that. Make it weaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
And same thing for neutrophil counts. Because it was 0.18
Yeah.
or in 0.24. Okay.
Right. So
NLR and neutrophils. Okay.
Yeah.
And then once I make that change, can I send it to you to send to the other authors to like approve before submitting it?
Yeah, and then this has to go to BMS too. So, do you have the email for BMS people or?
Oh yeah. We've been we communicated with them before, so we can
Mm.
just send it the updated version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, give the author like a week time. Once you change that, yeah, you don't need my approval. You know what to write and just send it to the authors as well as BMS and give them like a week to review.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then I think we can submit to ASCR.
Okay. A week from today, right?
Yeah, a week from today.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'll do that later today.
Yeah. And then don't forget the actual manuscript. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it should be ready soon. I
Mhm.
mean, it's a brief report, so yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. I finished writing the introduction for that. I'm just like getting through it. I like wrote like an outline or
Mhm.
yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Almost done.
Yeah. Wrapping it up.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. Right. Thanks, Richard.
Mhm.
Liam, do you have updates?
No, I don't have any major updates. The one update I have is for our Dreams trial, registering that to clinicaltrials.gov. So their review committee got back to us with a couple of comments, a couple of minor ones, requesting just some clarifications regarding our primary outcomes and the timeframes. So I'm just going to go ahead and clarify those and make those amendments and then resubmit. So hopefully we'll hear back from them. Maybe this week, but given, it's the holidays, maybe next week.
Okay. What about the DART study abstracts? Where are
Abstracts, I'm just working on that. I've just been working on it kind of slowly over the break. So I should be able to give you the final draft next week.
So how many abstract is it? Can you
So
summarize it?
it's going to be 3 abstracts. So it's going to be we're going to combine the clear cell cohorts,
Mhm.
and we have the thyroid. What?
No,
No,
no.
these are all ovarian.
Small cell ovarian.
Yeah, small cell, the hypercalcemic type, the clear cells,
And
and
non-epithelial, which
yes,
is
non-epithelial. So those were the MMMTs and the granulosa cells majority. We had a couple of like germline cells, tumors in there too.
okay. And I'll follow up with the Lunit DART project and Circulogene DART. Remember we sent emails.
Mhm.
So I'll look into these emails. I'll CC you and let's just keep following up with those 2
Sure.
projects as well.
Okay.
Okay. And then let's keep bugging the biomarker study
Biomarker.
partners. We need to
Yeah.
get that ready and then the collaborator fee issue solved.
Mhm.
So just keep following those emails and make sure everything is in place before we open.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Uh, Arnie, are you able to give us update?
Hi, Dr. J. Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
That's okay.
So for me, I'm waiting. So there is something I want to show you actually.
Mm-hmm.
There is some paper made by Wang.
Mm-hmm.
They just published in 22 November.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about multiple new lesion in non-small cell lung cancer. Proposal of counting new small lung cancer. Proposal of counting multiple new lesions in hyperprogression for new small lung cancer. Let me turn on my laptop and I will show it to you. So it's kind of have the same topic with us, but they didn't modify. They didn't modify. So actually, I want to talk about the once again about the purpose of our study, because if we talk about the new lesions again, it should be kind of the same with them. But they didn't make the modified Champiat and modified Sadabusit in their table. But I want to show you the uh the document.
So,
Yes, last week I already talked to it with Gion and Eugene. So Eugene, we thinking that we need to kind of show you first, and maybe after that, aim for what is it, like aim for talk, like, do you think like the purpose should be like kind of the same, or we need just to describe, because for me the discussion part is stuck to paragraph 3, because I cannot move on, because I don't know what to write about the next part. Okay, let me open the document.
so can you send us the journal,
Yeah.
the article?
I can send you now. I will leave now. I will send it now in the lab meeting.
You can put it in the chat box.
Oh, okay.
Samantha, I got your form. And,
So this is what will I share. Yeah, I already sent it to the mail. I sent it to the chat group. The chat. Yeah. So this is like the new paper that just published. They propose like kind of the same thing with us, Dr. Che. So before, in I think like last year, like Wang also proposed a new lesions about also proposed about hyperprogressions, but it's only in gastric cancer. But this year he proposed for non-small cell lung cancer. Even
wow, this is
yeah,
very interesting.
yeah. Even at first I see the gastric cancer, and I feel like, oh, this is a really good for our reference. But when I'm doing reference research with Gion, and also I found it, and we just Foila, they just published this like maybe like 2 months ago. And
Mm.
even the picture that Gion proposed at first, they use it
Mm.
also. See, I think you kind of remember this picture.
Mm,
Ion proposed it like couple months ago, and this is what happened. So yeah, so right now, kind of thinking what should we do with our paper and what should we do about the purpose, because at first I'm also kind of want to highlight about the new lesions, because I think that's the one that make difference, that kind of really show that hyperprogressions is because there's no standard count for new lesion for counting the new lesions, or like counting the tumor size to define hyperprogressions. I think that's kind of the start of the hyperprogressions theory, because I don't think like RECIST can be as a good marker for hyperprogression, because I don't think it's for hyperprogressions, and they kind of propose this in here. So yeah.
so can you send this? Oh yeah, you sent it already. Okay. Let me open this and see what we can do about this.
They even make one diagram that really good, Dr. Che. This one,
Mm,
the number of the percentage of the incidents, that the Venn diagram for the, if they change the number.
mm. Oh, this is really nice.
Yeah.
So let me dissect this. Can you unshare?
Oh yeah, thank you, Dr. Che.
So let me share. Okay, and my computer's frozen. I don't know why. Let me do it again. Still does that. Huh. I don't know why it's doing it. Hmm. There's something wrong. Maybe with the Acrobat. Hmm. I'm gonna force quit. There's a problem with my Acrobat, so I do it again. Hold on. So this is what happens if we don't publish soon. People think similarly. Yeah,
I
it's same thing with Singmi's project.
I
too.
said to Gion yesterday when I get this paper and we see it together, I said, I really worry Dr. Che will be mad at me, because this is like kind of the same topic with mine, like literally like similar.
Yeah. Don't worry, I understand you. You have to take step 3. You have to do what, same thing with medical student. You have your finals, you know, I totally understand. But this is why timely publication is so important. Like, it's not like patent, like, but it's still who gets the original ideas. So some people, that's why you use still my Acrobat Pro is still not working. Hmm. Yeah, it's just frozen and I can't read. Okay, let's go back and you can share screen, Arnie. Let's just do
Oh.
it that way.
Okay, Dr. J.
Okay, so let me read the abstract. Here it says hyperprogression 5 to 18%. So it changes a lot by definition. There's no significant difference between OS of hyperprogression. New lesion was associated with shorter median overall survival in PD patients. So we should look at this too. If they have new lesion, was it associated with poor survival? In all PD, PD with or without hyperprogression, okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't read it.
Oh.
What are you trying to do?
No.
So time-dependent ROC curve, ROC analysis suggested that the optimal threshold for new lesion number in survival prediction was 2. This is really good. I don't know if we can do anything similar, but I don't know if we'll find the same trend for the new lesion, the impact for overall survival. So I don't think this is necessary for us, but if you can do this, that would be good. After redefinition of HPD, new HPD patients had a significantly shorter survival compared with non-HPD patients. So this one we did not find. So new definition, we didn't show any change in overall survival, correct?
Yes.
So I would say we would just have to cite this article and say in this article that the new definition did make change in overall survival. In our data, it did not. Maybe it's a sample size issue. Maybe it's but it remains this the new hyperprogression model needs further validation. That's all we can say. After and then so MNL, what does this stand for?
Multiple new lesions. They make a new new word MNL until the end of the article, multiple new lesions.
More than one new.
Yeah.
So I think I now understand. So if someone developed one new lesion, it did not make any survival impact. It has to be 2 or more to make impact, at least from their data set. So I think that's why they're using ML. Yeah, so why don't we explore that? Maybe we had, so in our data set, the question is, if there's a new lesion, if you can separate that to only one lesion versus 2 or more lesion, if you separate those 2 groups and show that one group did better than the other, or try to see if 2 MNL, 2 or more new lesions were associated with poor survival outcome. See if that's true, because we didn't do that kind of subgroup analysis. Here, they had 214 patients, right?
Yes.
How many patients do we have?
121.
121, okay. Wow, they really have a lot of patients here. So I think we'll just have to be validation study for what they did. You know, we can't be the original now because they've done it. So yeah, we'll just have to say they found this, we didn't find it, kind of story. And maybe that's smaller sample size issue. but it just remains to be validated. And do all the analysis that they have done, so that we can say, well, they found this, and you can say we also found that, or we didn't find that, and we think the reasons are like this and that. Like we'll have to change our story to be, that for versus we're the first one to propose such and such.
Okay. Mm, yeah, they kind of proposing for what they propose is like really basic, like the base, Dr. Che, like they didn't propose any counting, how to count the tumor size, but they count like, because RECIST didn't count, they didn't count the new lesions. Only if you have new lesions, it's become progressive disease. But at this point, they did what we did actually also. They count all the new lesions to the target lesions and feel and see the difference to the incidence. Yeah, I think
So it looks like their new definition made it the new lesion has to be more, equal or more than 2, and then meeting the requirements of the current HPD definitions. But I don't know, and that we don't have to suggest that. We could forego MLL, and just I think that's sort of arbitrary. I think you can have large new 1 lesion and that can make a difference. I don't see a biological difference between 1 lesion and 2 lesion. I think that's what they found from their just unique data set. So I don't want to stick to that. I think our proposal will still be just adding the new lesion to the current RECIST. We'll just stay that path, but validate when MMNL concept is also valid in our data set or not. We can comment on that.
okay. I think I don't.
Let's go through the paper. I want to see the figures first. Is this article coming from China? Is it China?
China, Shanghai.
Okay. Yeah, let's go to the figure or table. So this figure just shows that TGR ratio versus progression. Okay.
The figure is this one, table characteristic, patient characteristic.
Okay, we have something similar. Okay.
This is the OS and OS of HPD patient. They don't do PFS. They just do OS overall survival.
Okay. So their p-values are not there. So what is their message? OS of HPD patient according to different definitions. So A is different definitions. They all seem to do worse similarly. B is based on TGR. TGR delta, TGK ratio. I actually like their way of naming, because we named it more like Champiad or Sarabuzid.
Yeah.
But it's really the TGR ratio, TGK ratio. And I think that's helpful. So I suggest that we change how we refer to these methods according to what they did. So we'll name them not by the first author's name, we'll still cite it, but I like TGR ratio, TGK ratio, all that. Let's call it these TGR ratio method or TGK in all graphs and tables and text.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And then, so I'm a little confused because they show that all three definitions, hyperprogression seem to do a little worse, but is this among, I guess, non-HPD patients? Are these all PD patients or all like really like all patients?
I think this is for only the HPD one, I think.
No, what I'm asking is non-HPD patients. Because it's hard to believe that there's not much difference. This is very interesting. Okay. Non-HPD will include response patients, but then, it didn't really make much difference. So, okay, let's go to the next table. Figure. The number of new lesions, 0, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, I think this is great. So let's make pie chart. Don't have to make pie chart because we can make it like bar graph or whatever. Yeah, I like 1, 2, and more than 3. And let's see what happens. And number of new lesions, 0, 1, and 2 and 3. 2 and 3 are not doing well. So let's make the same Kaplan-Meier curve to see if this concept is valid in our data set.
Yeah.
And then if C is seen, then make B. We'll make B anyway to see if we can see the same trend. If we see the trend, then you can make the ROC curve like they did. Okay, next figure. That's it. That's it. Oh yeah.
This one, the last
So
one.
this is by different methods. Like, what are they overlapping? And then they're proposing that if you add M and L, things are looking worse. That's really powerful. If you add, but it's really not many patients, but still, new lesion, more than 2 new lesions were much worse. This is very interesting. Where is this published? What journal?
I forget. I must check it. Oh, wait.
It was lung cancer.
Lung cancer.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, that's a decent journal. Okay. Is this the last figure?
Yeah, the last one.
Okay. So yeah, so let's do that. And you B, C, D, E, F, G. You can make all those, but not through M and L, but you could, I would say, only if you find the difference from the previous figure, then
So
you can use.
I
If
have
you
a question.
go up to the up. Yeah, look at this. Like, if you find this pattern, then move on to figure 4. If you find similar pattern as shown in figure 3, then you move on to make all the figures in the figure number 4. Okay? If you don't find this pattern, you don't have to make figure 4.
So it means Dr. Che, we need still, I will, after this, we need to still count the difference between 1 lesion, 2 lesions, and 3 lesions, or more than 3 lesions, right? And also, right now, the purpose of our article is like kind of, we just cite this article, or for my article, what is the end of the purpose of the describing? Just proposing about like new lesion will be changed, or what do you think about this?
So can you tell me what's the title of our manuscript?
Yeah, we at first we put like redefining of the incidents,
Can you
and
pull it up?
yeah. Let me share. Yeah, it's already changing.
I don't see anything changing. Can you?
But I will stop share first, and after that I will rechange it. Okay. So this is our title, right? Defining hyperprogression in clinical, the incidence, clinical implications, and risk factor of hyperprogressions in non-small cell lung cancer. But
Yeah,
when
so this
talking,
is why we're writing this. In real clinic, what is the true incidence?
Mhm.
We see incidence in many different papers. What is the clinical implication? That means what's the impact on overall survival, progression-free survival,
Mhm.
and what is the risk factor? So risk factor is our, differentiating factor here. So these three are the reason why we're writing, the purpose of this article. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And that's why we're writing this. And the redefining means people use different definitions. And some people say, as with Dr. Wang's group, presence of new lesion is important. We're gonna say, at least from our own Northwestern data, the presence of new lesion does not seem to be important. If you find it, then we refute that. We can propose still, because of the biology, having new lesion, 2 or more new lesions, 3 or more, maybe our data is different. Our data might say 3 or more is very bad, not 2 or more. I don't know what our data will show. See if their finding can be replicated. If it's not, maybe it's a random chance, but we do believe the current HPD definition needs to be changed, because they do not take into the account the impact of new lesion. We do believe the tumor burden is very different. And we do believe with larger sample size, like if we analyze 1,000 patient, I believe that then like having multiple new lesions, unless they're pseudo progression, if they're true progression and meets the criteria for hyperprogression, they will have much poorer prognosis, worse survival outcome. So, but we need to prove that. I think there's nothing wrong proposing that, and have other groups keep validating it. And there will be number 3, number 4 paper that will examine the impact of new lesions. Is it 2 or more? Is it any new lesions? Are they really bad, or are they same as no new lesion hyperprogressions? It's a good question. So I think that's our second purpose. If we propose new definition of hyperprogression, which is to include new lesions, is that something clinically sound? Is that something that can be validated? Our
Ah,
data maybe no, having new lesions did not impact survival outcome in our data set. And maybe it's smaller sample size, 200 versus 100-ish. We don't know. We can only say this concept is biologically plausible, but clinically it needs to be validated. That's it. So
ah,
purpose is the title.
okay.
The second purpose is to see what we find is in line with or different from the previous literature, which includes Wang's paper.
Okay.
You understand the purpose?
I understand, Dr. C.
Okay.
I understand. Thank you so much. I think this will be kind of helping for the next couple days about writing this manuscript, because
Mhm.
yeah, when this paper is out, I kind of shocked, like kind of do like, oh my god, it's already published by other journal. So yeah,
Yeah,
but
I mean, this is still publishable. We just don't have the, authentic, like, the, you know, piece to it because someone else already proposed it, right? So this is academia, guys. This is someone else is thinking the same thing. Same thing with clinical trial. We think this is going to work and write write a proposal and do that. And someone else already proposed it, got the grant, and they're doing it. So the world of technology, this is crazy, like trying to steal skills and new ideas and present it as their own. But luckily, hyperprogression is not that competitive. I'm actually happy that Dr. Wang is working on this. So,
really, well, thank you, Dr. Che. I
so
thought you
it's
kind of be sad a little bit.
yeah, no. This is a thing. I want to make this clear. And I'm actually writing a book about this concept. If you really love science, so think about this. If your goal is to prove that what I discovered, what I wrote, is going to, needs to be accepted and be the mainstream of academia or new therapy in clinic. And if someone else comes up with better therapy or, did something slightly faster than you and get all the credit, I mean, you're going to be discouraged. That's no brainer. But I think the mentality is, why am I doing research? Why am I putting my energy into all these projects? It's to make science advance for the betterment of patients. So if somebody else does similar things with, as you do, and come up with a better solution, I think you should feel happy about that, because it's just improves the whole medical community, and the patients are going to get all the benefit. It doesn't matter whether you get the credit or not. The purpose of research is not to satisfy your ego. I mean, you're going to be more humble and work harder, and but it's like as you know, like all research is built on what's previously done. You're never going to get anywhere if you don't read previous literature. You have to understand what they've done, what's not done. So you make your niche and make contribution there. And there may be competition in that niche too, but it doesn't matter. I think I've actually changed to mindset. Like, I'm actually thankful more and more researchers are like going into similar field and making contributions, and we learn from each other. And really just feel thankful that they are making progress for the patient, which is the same goal that I'm doing research for. So yeah. So I'm not mad, Arnie. Don't worry. And I totally, I'm not the kind of mentor who's like push, and let's get it out. And why didn't you do that? Why weren't you faster? No, I understand you guys all have your own speed and other priorities. So I fully acknowledge that. And we're doing this to really help patients. That's our goal. And then, I mean, we do it you know, I wouldn't say spare time, but like we're dedicated and we do what we can, time manage to make things happen. And if it moves to more like clinical trial and patient needs something right away, if it's all clinical, then you would have to like really like do whatever you can to make that happen in a timely manner. But if it's a research, then it's not at that level, but still like we learn from these examples that like it's important to get your idea out there sooner than later. But again, I want you to rejoice in medical advances. Wow, you guys found this. This may be a new way to analyze data. And then our next question is, then how do you apply this in clinic? You guys learn like, AFib, TAD score, like all these scores and algorithms and assess, and then if you meet that score, what do? Oh, we anticoagulate. We don't. So all these prognostic factors are important. Like if you do like, oh, there's a new lesion popped up, oh, patients are not going to do well. This is a very bad sign. And you have some sort of scoring system, whatever you come up with, and then it's time to move on to clinical trial. Don't continue this thinking it's hyperprogression. Don't continue another similar immunotherapy. It's time to move on. So it gets incorporated into new guideline, new scoring system. Someone has to take it to the next level. And to do that, we need not just one institution data, we need several institution data to make it happen. So I'm actually thankful for Wang that they've come up with what they, in 200 patient data. And I told you, people from Hopkins, all these great immunologists, I met a couple of them recently, and then they said, I don't believe in hyperprogression. Like, I don't believe in such concept. I think it's just a natural course of the aggressive cancer getting, So that's why a lot of hyperprogression papers are not getting accepted in great journals, because a lot of reviewers don't believe in the concept of hyperprogression. I do. I believe that it's true phenomenon. They just don't understand the mechanism. I mean, we talked about in great length in our lab meetings. So for new area to mature, takes time. But I'm actually glad that more people are writing manuscripts in this topic. So that's my input for you guys.
Thank you, Dr.
Anything
Che.
else?
I did have one quick question. With regards to the multi-cancer early detection manuscript we submitted, so we transferred the submission to the European journal. In the meanwhile, since it has been pre-printed, we've been getting some solicitations from these journals to like submit to theirs. A lot of them are just bogus. But there was one that we heard from recently called Journal of Biology in Today's World. It's a relatively young journal, but the impact factor is pretty good. I'm just going to share my screen really quick. So the impact factor was 8, which was like, I was surprised to see. So they sent us this soliciting email asking us, would you consider submitting to our paper? We didn't do anything about it. I just wanted to see if this journal looks okay to you.
Is this a review paper journal, or does it have original? Can you see there? Can you go to their journal? Because as you know, there's like Nature Cancer Reviews. There's only journal that accepts reviews, and reviews are highly cited. So they're just in different league.
Not sure. So
Yeah, I'm not super excited about this.
yeah. It was like I just don't get where they get their impact factor from. It's like it seems like
Yeah.
they started in 2016 and they only have like 1,000 total citations so far.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm-
I don't know. Maybe have also, yeah, I'm not enthusiastic about this, but have Dr. Chielny also do some more research on this journal to see if it's anything
Sure.
worth considering, but for first glimpse, no.
Sounds good.
All right, so we'll wrap up here. Guys, enjoy the rest of the holidays. We'll see you guys next year.
Thank you. Happy New Year's.
Take care. Bye-bye.